And I think we're rolling. All right. So here's the next video of the finance and money series. And again, starting the new year, there's going to be, different series like I outlined in my video 2, where I was talking about the series that I'm going to be talking about. And so we continue with the finance and money set. So today we're going to talk about budgets and budgeting. So I have some outline here that I wrote just to kind of stay a little bit on track, not to be all over the place, just kind of follow a few lines and answer a few questions that I wrote on this piece of paper in order to kind of keep a track of what I'm talking about. So first question, I'm going to be looking down from time to time and just to get the question. Number 1, why a budget? Obviously, with the new year that's starting, you're trying to reassess where you are. You're looking down the road. How's your money look like? How's your situation looks like? And I know we've all heard about budgeting. Personal budgets. Obviously, this is not like business budget. We're not talking about work budget. We're talking about your budget. But the principle is the same. Whether you're taking from a personal perspective or you're taking in a business perspective, in a company, in project management, and all this kind of stuff in finance. But personal finance that's where we are. So a budget is basically a plan that you put in place in order to track your money, to track where you spend your money, and in order to have a good view of how you handling your finance, what kind of steward you are about your take-home pay. And therefore you want to know in every section of your life spendings, how you spend it. A lot of times, if you don't have a budget and you don't know, you just go out, you swipe your cards, you write the checks, or you have all the direct deposits set up, but you never track them. I mean, the direct draft set up and you never track them. As well as direct deposit, you also want to look at the inflow compared to the outflow of money in your personal life, whether it's a household or whether you're single, married with kid, double income, no kid. So you want a budget. Now, people are like, budget is always a little bit taboo. If you're budgeting, it means you're struggling. Well, that's a myth. I'm going to address that maybe today, maybe in another video. We're already at 2:30. So that's what a budget is. It allows you to be able to track your money, set where maybe you're spending too much, spending too less, where you're focusing, and some of the stuff that you can actually assess by tracking. It's like, should I even spend money here? That's why you have a budget. Should I cancel those things, those subscriptions and memberships that are not, all the magazines are piling up and I'm never reading them, all those kind of things. So why a budget? I guess I answered that question within the what's a budget and why a budget towards the end, where I was saying the reason why you have a budget again is to be able to being able to assess where you're spending too much and then cut back on some things. Therefore, depending on the goals that you have financially, you can reallocate money in different pools, in different places, allowed to meet a goal like a paying off a card, saving up for a trip, for a car, and even finally saving up for a house, which is one of the biggest purchases of most people. It's a house. For other people, it's probably a private plane, a private jet, an island. Believe it or not, it's happening, or something bigger than that. A city, I don't know. Ask the the people that own the money of the world. Not own, but they're pretty much out there in the 0.00001% billionaires. Those people can afford cities. But anyway, let's get backtrack. So how do you budget? Well, the budgeting is very simple. You put together a form. You put your expenses and your inflow, your expenses, you track that on a piece of sheet. Excel has a lot of those. I don't know if you know that, but they have a bunch of templates on Excel. All you guys have Excel. You just go in the templates, the menus. You're going to find a bunch of different type of budget depending on what kind of things you want to create. They have all kinds of budget there. You can use one. They have the simple one. They have personal budget, business, all kinds of stuff. You can use that. And I know, again, it's the discipline to be able to follow through, that you can start. And I just see where it gets you. I wanted to talk about something in order to be able to budget and figure out how you can allocate money and cut money. You have to think about how do you live and how do you spend your money. A lot of us have heard this. People are tired here about living below your means or within your means. And what does that really mean? Well, I know, everybody wants to feel like they're living successfully. So a lot of time you kind of jump. Maybe you don't know, you're jumping ahead of where you should be financially, jumping ahead of some expenses you're not sure. But it's a very simple check. If you're struggling, you have to check two things. Either you're spending too much or you're not earning enough. So either way, you have to figure out what you need to do. And a lot of time to fix it quicker, it's not usually increase the income, because it's not easy to run and go find another job that's going to pay you 1.5 what you're making now or double. The first thing first is start to check your expenses, how you live and how you spend your money. That's the most realistic to start. And then ultimately you want to increase your income, obviously. And that leads us to talking about the concept of net worth. It's very quick. The net worth is simple. What is your net worth? You have a positive net worth or you have a negative net worth? It's two things. Or you're at zero, which means your assets equal all your liabilities, all your expenses, or all your things you owe. So your net worth is basically what? On one side, you have all the things you own that have a dollar value that is positive. It's something that you can actually exchange for cash. So it starts from, in order of liquidity, from cash in the bank to type of assets, real estate, collectibles, anything that you can turn into cash. Those are your assets. Your house is where you live in. It's not really an asset yet, but you can actually draw equity from it when you sell it, or if you own the house outright, then that's an asset, because that's the house you can sell and you own it and get money. And then you have your liabilities. What you still owe on your mortgage is your liability. Student loan liabilities, right? All the way down to your current revolving credit cards, consolidation loan, other line of credit. All that stuff is what you owe somebody else. So you do the math, you add it, and you subtract. If you have a negative number, you're a negative asset. If you have a positive number, you're a positive net worth. And so that's how you assess it. And you should always be reassessing when you stand as far as your net worth. How much am I worth? We always see that with celebrities, and their worth is the word that. You have a net worth yourself, so you need to figure out what that is. It's very easy to find. Actually, I'm going to be putting maybe out some simple forms for you to assess your net worth. I'm going to post it and you can download it. It's probably going to be an Excel form. And then finally, I wanted to talk about the concept of debt, because if you talk about budget and if you're struggling with some things, usually it has to do with how much you owe. It's always the debt part, the expense part, and that's going to be another talk. It's already too long here. So I always think about 5 minutes, 8 minutes, but 6 minutes, but I mean 8 minutes now, so it's going to be too long. And so the concept of debt, again, we're going to talk about it in the next talk. We're going to talk about why people are getting debt and what is good debt, what is bad debt. Is debt good or is debt bad? Is it unavailable? So we're going to talk about debt and where to start talking about debt. How do you assess that? And how finally you start talking about getting out of debt. So that's the subject we're going to talk about next. All right, thanks. Have a great day. Again, Happy New Year. Keep working on those resolutions because they're important.